In this video, I'll be shooting with a 50 mm focal length or with my prime lens, right? Now, 50 mm focal length is said to be one of the best focal lengths for street photography because it is neither very short nor very long, and you can also get very cheap lenses for 50 mm. That's why. So today I'll do some street photography in this area with this 50 mm focal length, and I will show you how to use a prime lens and this 50 mm focal length specifically. So let's go. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new here and give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. Let's start from the Warschauer Straße S-Bahn station. I want to show you the whole place properly. Maybe I can use this line as a leading line. Let's see. It goes towards the exit. This is interesting. I don't think you can see the camera, can you? Let me go down a bit and adjust myself. Maybe now? No. I love people with delivery bikes. This is like an ordered chaos. With people passing by, I can do so much storytelling. I keep falling down. Why do I keep falling down? I love people with strollers. Strollers and people with hats. These are the most prized possessions of any street photographer. See? This is such a simple and composition with just one leading line, but it makes so much sense. That guy on the bike is also very cool. What more we can get? I need to get away from here, or else I will shoot the whole vlog on this place. This looks interesting. Maybe I should go. Maybe one more shot. That guy with suitcase. Can be an interesting shot, let's see. Yeah. Let's go from here now. Enough. I need to show you other places as well. By the way, there are some more shots that I took right now. You can see it on the screen. I'm pleased with them. By the way, when you are shooting with a prime lens or a fixed focal length, you have to move around a lot because you cannot zoom in, zoom out. So even when shooting a particular subject, only at one spot you have to move around the spot a lot. Maybe I can use these lampposts for like a minimalistic shot. Maybe, let's see. I like it, but I don't know. Maybe I can use these girls as subject and put something in the foreground. Nah, I like it. Yeah. I try to do some storytelling in each shot. Otherwise the shot looks just like any other photo. Let's see if I can get some more interesting photos. These girls are very animated, they are laughing a lot, so maybe, and it's also very windy, so maybe I can catch some movement. This place offers so much in terms of composition. Like, you can use these lampposts as leading lines. You can also compose like a minimalistic shot here. But I always feel that you need a wide angle lens, particularly for this place. 50 mm is a bit too tight. See, I'm already finding it a bit challenging, but that's the idea, right? Let's see. This looks interesting. How many times do I say interesting in the whole vlog? Let's count. Let's see what more we can get. I remember there's also a Starbucks in the corner. Maybe we can shoot through these windows. I can't. I want to, but I can't. I don't want to bother people while they are working. I don't know, there's a gray line. Sometimes I don't even think about taking a photo, but sometimes the gut feeling is that, just avoid it. No matter how many times you do street photography, you always want to, avoid confrontation. Especially, it doesn't feel very good when someone looks directly at you. I want to use these grids to form a better framing and better composition in the shot. Maybe I can put someone in the center. Yeah. I want I'm looking for someone who is wearing darker clothes because the sky is already very light. So I'm just trying to use a darker subject for better contrast. Let's see. There's a very interesting person coming from the right and also a bunch of people coming from the left. That guy with a bike can be an interesting subject. That's what street photography is all about. Just try to see what elements you have in your surroundings and use those elements together to basically tell some kind of story, and just follow the rules of composition. But I feel that storytelling is the best composition in a photo. Like, for example, if I move to my right, you can see that you can basically see the TV tower in the background. So maybe I can do some kind of layering here. I can use the background layer, I can put something in the foreground, then I can also use those bikes in the mid layer. So in this composition I'm just trying to layer up, trying to introduce 3 or 4 layers in the foreground and then one background layer. With a prime lens, it's not ideal, to be honest. I would like to get more close, although that's not possible. But you see how with a sharp lens you can basically achieve a lot. We will have to cross to the other side. If you are coming to Berlin sometime, then this is a perfect place to visit, because you know you always keep hearing that Berlin is very hipster. Well, this place is the most hipster that you can get. In fact, my old workplace was also nearby in this place. Also, this place, there's a very famous flea market at Boxhagener Platz, which basically takes place nearby. So Warschau Strasse is very happening, and if you go in the evenings, you can see a lot of events, restaurants full of people, and a lot of good vibes all around. Now I'm walking towards a very special spot. It's basically a spot on the bridge from where you can see the S-Bahn trains come and go. So it's a very iconic shot for Berlin. Now when I turn to my left, you will be able to see the railway lines and the TV tower in the background. So this is one of the most iconic photos, but we will have to wait for the S-Bahn train to make this iconic. And that's the challenge, because now with the 50 like this, now that the train is coming, I can put it in the foreground and have the TV tower and other architecture in the background like this. But it's not a telephoto lens, so I will have to crop it. Let me change things a bit. Let me follow rule of third. So I'll put the TV tower on the upper right hand corner, and this train is coming, so I'll put that train in the lower left hand corner, right, but at the points where the lines meet. So I'm trying to compose the shot using rule of thirds. This is the iconic shot I was telling you about. There can be you can compose it in landscape mode also. That's also very iconic. It looks great. I'm only interested in S-Bahns because that tells the whole story about Berlin. By the way, it has been both challenging and enjoyable to shoot with the 50 lens today. I mean, this place is wide open, so it's not always that you can use this lens at its own sweet spot. And really, when you're shooting with a prime lens, it matters a lot how much distance you have between you and the subject. This distance matters a lot. So, for example, with this 50 lens, if I want to get really sharp photos, I want to get more closer to the subject, then it gives me very sharp photos. So always try to look what the sweet spot is for your lens. Also, my main purpose of making these vlogs is not only to discuss street photography, but also to show you around Berlin and show you all the really good spots to do some photography if you are coming to Berlin and enjoy photography. I truly believe that Berlin is one of the most vibrant and one of the most unique cities, at least in Europe, and it has a lot of history attached to it. So it's a very nice and interesting place to do some street photography. Also, I want to debunk the myth where people say that Germany and Germans in particular are not very cool with street photography, and people look down upon you and they are always looking for confrontation. That's not the case. Yes, you have to respect boundaries. This looks interesting. Maybe I can put these girls in the foreground. I want to get that bridge in the background. No, I think these photos will come out very sharp. This is a sweet spot for this 50 lens. I can go a bit more closer, honestly, but I don't want to because the lens is so tight. I will end up cropping the bridge altogether. Let's see what we get. The really cool stuff would be to get a train on that bridge, but that's not the case. This line U3, it's called U3. This line is very irregular, and if I'm going to wait for the train, I will wait for the train for this shot, but I know that it will take a lot of time, and you know those girls might leave. But I would really like to get a shot where I get that train in the shot also. Let's wait. Let's see if the train comes. Street photography is all about waiting. Waiting for chances to happen, waiting for opportunities to happen. Yeah. Let's wait for the train. Mm. So you can see that those girls are already leaving. It has been quite some time for me to wait for this train. But yeah, that's what street photography is. Sometimes things just don't happen for you. That's great. I still feel very good about the photos that I took. A train would have been a cherry on the top, but okay, that's fine. Let's try to go down and get some more nice shots of this bridge, and maybe then we can also get some shots with train riding on the bridge. So earlier I was talking about the history and uniqueness attached to Berlin, right? So here's a fun fact for you. So you might know that Berlin was divided by the Berlin Wall for a long time, but this bridge served as a border crossing between East and West Berlin between 1961 and 1989, and it was only accessible to pedestrians. So this bridge basically was a symbol of division between East and West Berlin, and pedestrians could walk between East and West Berlin through this bridge. Right? How's that for a historical fact? So you can see that every corner of this city has some history attached to it. Although that history can also be a tragic sometimes, because dividing the whole city by a wall, that's tragic for me at least. But yeah, you get the idea, right? Maybe I can put someone in the background and focus on this sign. That would be a really cool and funny photo. Let's see. Maybe a man. Who knows? I'll have to wait for someone come from the other way round. I think someone is coming. Let's see. Yeah. Some ladies are coming also. So I can get a photo from both sides. That's a cool shot. Sometimes, storytelling is the best composition ever. I want to take photos of these girls against the sky. That would be a cool contrast, but I'll tell you what happened. So basically, I was going to take photos of these girls against the sky. I would have blacked them out for silhouette, but they noticed me and then they walked away. And that happens a lot. Especially, I've seen people walking away a lot after seeing this vlogging camera since I've started doing vlogging. So, if you are basically just doing street photography, that's fine. But if you are vlogging also, then I've seen people becoming a bit too concerned and they walk away a lot more. That's fine. I'm also learning on the fly while vlogging. This is also new to me, how people react to action cameras and vlogging cameras. Well, I'm mad about skateboarding in Europe, and looks interesting also. Maybe I can shoot across the street from here. I can use people as silhouettes against the background. Let's try to wait for someone to walk, or maybe someone on a bike. I always love delivery people. Now the train comes. I don't need that train anymore. As I said, street photography is a lot about walking and waiting. Yeah. What would be really cool is to have someone very tall walk on that bridge, against that background. Then that silhouette would be much more defined and sharp. But if you are staging a photo, that's not street photography. I don't want to put like a tall model against this backdrop and then call it a street photo. So very cloudy and windy today. Something that I really don't like, but it's a challenge. If you shoot there are people who, and I was one of them, who would go out to shoot only when it was sunny or only when it rained. So basically, all your photos, you take all your photos in sunny weather or rainy weather, and so it looks like the weather basically defines your photography. But if you are into street photography, then you should be able to shoot in any weather. That's a challenge. Maybe I can use that structure for framing. The people behind it, below that structure, look like silhouettes, so maybe I can use that. Why am I taking this photo? Sometimes you just take photos randomly. So as I was saying, maybe I can use portrait mode and take photo with those people as silhouettes. One thing I do is I put people on the upper line, on the horizon line. This makes photo much more interesting. Basically, when you are shooting with your grid lines, you should be able to put your horizon or the subject on the upper line. and this rule basically makes your photo much more interesting. Let me try another angle. Maybe we can. So there is a ship. It's almost permanently anchored here. I don't know why. And so maybe I can use it in the foreground and have the back TV tower and the other architecture in the background.Maybe like this. Because the lens is so tight, sometimes I have to shoot with landscape mode to get much more detail in the shot. Because I that's a bad idea. There's nothing in the shot. Sometimes you just have to try. But as I was saying, when you are shooting with a tight focal length like 50 mm, and when it's a prime lens, obviously, then sometimes you have to shoot with landscape mode just to get much more detail and things into the shot. Because if I had a wider angle lens like 35 mm, then that would have been not a problem. But in this case, you might have seen me shooting with landscape mode quite a lot than usual, and this is the reason. I want to cross over now. By the way, on the right hand side is Helish's store, and beneath that station is one of the most nice burger places. I think it's called Burgermeister. Once had a burger there with my office colleagues at 3 in the morning. Yeah. As I was saying, there are some ships permanently anchored near Warschauer Strasse, and you won't believe some of these ships actually serve as restaurants or nightclubs and all that. So this goes without saying. This just shows how hipster this place is. That's a cool building. The almost the whole world map is designed on that building, painted on that building. Look, this shot would be cool. You can find art like this in almost all European cities, honestly, not just Berlin, but it's still very beautiful. Come to think of it, you can find art like this in almost every city in the world. I mean, if you go to Connaught Place in Delhi, you would find street art like this a lot. In fact, a lot of places in Delhi. Maybe I can get like a biker I'm using this white line as leading line. Leading lines can be of any shape. You don't have to shoot. You don't have to find just a straight line. A curved line like this can also be a leading line. See, I'm trying to place a subject on the upper line or the horizon line. This makes the photo much more interesting. Ooh. It's very important to wear comfortable shoes while doing street photography. I'm wearing boots today and they are killing me. I love these boots. They are very sturdy but not made for long walking. So we'll now walk under the bridge and you get nice views on both sides. But yeah. I can picture people, walking from east to west Berlin using this bridge. I wonder how that would have been in the past. That guy is going to fall. People are crazy sometimes. Maybe I can use those, pillars, this design as a frame. So if I can get someone walk in between those structures, that would be really cool. That would be a great framing and composition shot. As you can see, landscape again because I have no room left. This is a very tight lens. Yeah, nice. I love this shot. What a coincidence, you know. In street photography, you shoot quite a lot, you wait for nice things to happen, they don't, and then suddenly something very nice happens out of the blue and makes your whole day. Alright, so this is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can see that with a fixed focal length, it was really all about moving you with your feet, because a focal length is not going to change. And this is how you basically shoot with a prime lens, and it really depends on your focal length. With a 50 mm, it was not too short, not too long, so it was just right in the middle. But if you are shooting with, let's say, a shorter focal length like 35 mm, then sometimes you have to get very close. And if you are shooting with a more tighter or longer focal length, let's say 70 mm for example, then you have to move around and move back a little. So you can basically understand, right? Sometimes while shooting, I really wanted to have like a telephoto lens, or sometimes I would, try to search for my zoom lens, but obviously I didn't have it. But that's the idea, right? Sometimes we get dependent on one lens so much that it becomes our shooting style or our photography style. So that's the challenge of using a prime lens. So I hope this video was very helpful to you, and you can now shoot with a prime lens with your own. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new here, or if you really enjoyed this video. That gives you a lot of encouragement. Also, let me know in the comments below if there are other focal lengths you would like me to try, or what are your preferred focal lengths, right? Or do you prefer to shoot with a prime lens or a zoom lens? Let me know. I'm always up for a conversation. I hope to see you in the next one. Till then, bye.